Ajit, you've been in the industry for more than 22 years, right? Do you remember the very first day of your job, of the very first job that you took?
Yeah, it's a long time, right? More than
Yes.
2 decades. And the very first job I took was actually of a software developer.
Right.
It was more of installation of softwares
Right.
for small scale enterprises.
Okay.
And while doing that, I ended up also teaching
True.
corporate batches of Oracle. So
Oh,
weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, full-time 8-hour batches. And that's when I developed more interest towards database.
Wow.
And subsequently my certifications and all that took off.
Interesting.
So it's a long time back. It was pure coincidence that somebody referred me to this company, and I just liked it.
So from the first day till now, 22 years, I'm sure it's been one awesome ride for you.
Yeah, it's been an awesome ride. It's been a roller coaster ride. It's
True.
been a lot of bumps and bumpy rides along the way. And when I look back these 22 years, I just see that I have played so many different roles in my professional career.
True.
And the good thing is the current role that I'm playing needs some bit of knowledge of all these areas. So the fact that I played these roles is certainly helping me perform my current role.
Absolutely. Now, an interesting fact about your formal education is you did your diploma in mechanical engineering and specializing in the automobile domain, and then your MBA in IT, right? Two very opposites in nature. So, how did that happen?
So, my father was a big-time auto enthusiast, and served Larsen & Toubro for close to 60 years.
Wow.
Post-retirement, another 10-15 years as a consultant. And he used to always love automobiles, bikes and cars.
That's 60 years in an automotive industry, so yeah, definitely.
So I used to accompany him to the garages, etc. And that's when I developed interest for automobile at a very young age. I even remember I did not go to a learning school for driving. I just had somebody sit next to me in a normal car, and I
started
driving. So of course I took I started driving officially only at the legal age. However, it so happened that Larsen & Toubro has its own institute, which is recognized by the government, called as Larsen & Toubro Institute of Technology. And it's only for L&T employees with minimum 5 years service experience. So I was privileged to get a seat there. They had only few disciplines: mechanical, electronics, and maybe one or two more. And Larsen & Toubro being a mechanical giant, right? They have heavy industries and stuff. So I was there. I got access to best of the tools and technologies out there. I specialized in automobile as part of my diploma. Because I was there, I could, with my uniform and my ID, we were allowed to roam freely in gate number 1 and 2, which was a heavy engineering workshop of Larsen & Toubro. So we could see those sophisticated tools and those big turbines and whatever they make there. We could actually see it being done there. I also was privileged to do 6 months of internship at Air India with their engine overall division at Kalina, and I had access to the runway and stuff. And so the Air India is one of the few places in India where they have a process called as peening, which is basically to increase the blade of a turbine, life of a turbine blade. So turbine blades are made of titanium. They are very, very expensive. So you can't just destroy them after every few hours of use. So you need to increase its life. So there are various types of peening process, and there's one of the few places in India that specializes in doing it. So I was privileged to see it hands-on, how they test engines. So I had so all these kind of generated more interest towards the mechanical line. And as a normal course of action, I did my BE mechanical because I wanted to do my graduation. So I get my second year. I start with my second year directly. I can skip the first year.
True.
Now it so happened that when I passed out of my bachelor's mechanical, it was kind of the boom of IT.
Right.
And unfortunately, I had no mechanical organization come to my college for an interview,
Correct.
right? Job placement. And that's when I said, okay, if this is the line, I should shift. And I did a few courses, and that's how I.
So that was a thoughtful move.
Yeah,
that you
it was actually
implemented.
the situation that so demanded.
Right.
And a few years after working, I said, you know what, I need to do my post-graduation now, since I have some experience.
True.
And that's when I moved to do my MBA and specialized in IT.
So that's where it comes from. Interesting. Now, like you mentioned earlier, right? You started out as a software developer, and then, of course, you've climbed the ladder from there, and of course, kept in touch with the education aspect. So, if I have to tell you the 22 years that you've been, the experience that you come with, if you had to, sum it up in a few words, what would they be?
I think these 22 years has been extremely exciting. Has been extremely knowledgeful.
Right.
I've learned so much. I've traveled quite a bit, stayed abroad. There have been obviously ups and downs, personal life.
Right.
That's normal. And but then I've been extremely privileged. God has been kind that I kept getting opportunities at every stage. So every time, I would have a downtime, there was immediately
Something
an uptime
cropped up.
waiting right around the corner. So, and that was a new area. So I had to again learn something new. So the good thing is I was forced to learn at every interval. Something new, and each of these areas, when I look down my entire 22 years, has never been consistent. So it's not like I've been a developer for 22 years or I've been a CISO for 22. So it's been various stages, and everywhere I had to pick up from scratch, learn, educate myself, do the hard work. So and that was so pleasing. And in the end, when you get your returns, you really feel that it's worth it.
Absolutely, and that's why we're sitting here today. So I think worth it. Now, taking you on the learning aspect that you mentioned, if I had to ask you, your top 3 learnings in your career, being today what you are, what would you tell us in terms of top 3 learnings that you had that you can share with our audience from your career?
As a student, the first thing has to be hard work.
Right.
We cannot work as per the clock. Right. We have to work hard, and if it means I don't sleep for 3 nights, I don't sleep for 3 nights.
As simple as that.
As simple as that, right? Because end of the day, the more I learn, the more I am confident in what I'm doing.
Right.
And moment I become confident in what I'm doing, my outcome is more accurate. And moment my outcome is more accurate, success will start chasing. So that's the first mantra. The second is be open to ideas, never be fixed with one thing, because the world is constantly changing.
True.
The more you get deep, the more you know there's more to go there, right? So you need to, so today, in today's day and age, unlike, when I started, when I see even my organization, we look at people who are specialized in an area. You may be having knowledge, you need to have knowledge of all other areas so that you're able to do bits and pieces there. But there has to be one area that you need to be a master of.
True.
And that's how organizations are looking at. Even in the Indian cricket team, you'll find not many all-rounders are playing. You'll have specialized keepers and batsmen still being preferred. So, and bowlers. So that's one thing. So get deep, specialize yourself in an area of interest, and be open to change, because times are not same. So as you move along, what you learned yesterday may no longer be relevant tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So one needs to be willing to change, like what I did from mechanical to IT, switch over.
A classic
you never
case
know
example,
when you would need best of both knowledge
it's there
in the field of work.
True. Very rightly said.